Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto 5 video, I'm going to be telling you guys about 10 things you need to know before you end up buying the Karin 190Z, which is the vehicle that is set to actually release next week during sort of the Valentine's Day event. So the first thing you need to know about this vehicle is its price. So it's not too terribly expensive for a sports classic car. It's $900,000 basically. And by the time you get done upgrading it, it's going to be around $1 million, $1.1, $1.2 million. So price of this vehicle, not all that terrible, especially when you compare it to like the Revolter and the Neon, and then the Comet SR that we're going to be getting at the end of the drip feeding cycle. That's going to be even more expensive than that. Now, moving on to some cool details on the exterior of the car. The first thing I thought was pretty neat is the petrol tank or the gas cap. It actually has the Karin logo on there, which is kind of cool. I thought that was a nice little detail by Rockstar. Obviously something they didn't necessarily have to do. And that same logo can actually be found on the stock rims. So the stock rims on this vehicle are really unique, which is something we haven't seen a lot out of the drip feed vehicles. They have the sort of Karin logo on the hubcap, which is really cool. It makes the vehicle pretty unique, in my opinion. Now, another thing, apparently Rockstar really wants you to know this vehicle is the Karin 190Z, because on the inside you see something very similar. Not only do you see a beautiful interior with nice wood paneling, but you see insignia for the 190Z, and you see the Karin logo on the steering wheel. So that's 3 locations already where we've seen the Karin logo and 190Z written on this car, which is crazy. Another thing I think is pretty cool about the interior is the lights, dials, and gauges. If you go in first person and you start up this car, you'll see lots of little lights blinking and dancing, which really makes for a cool effect on the inside of the vehicle. Now, getting back to that, on the floor mat as well, you'll also notice that it says Karin Automotive with 190Z written on the side as well, and GT on there too. So Rockstar really want you to know what kind of vehicle this is, which is really funny. Now, another thing I thought was unique is this side panel on the front of the car near the door actually opens on both sides. Now, I think I know why. We'll actually see that a little bit later. But what's kind of funny is even if you have no modification there, that little flap on the side of the car will open, which is kind of funny. And the last thing I think is kind of unique about this vehicle is the hood actually opens up kind of the opposite way you would expect hoods to open, where the latch is actually towards the windscreen. So it kind of opens up in reverse as far as modern cars go. But that's all the extra stuff on the outside I thought was pretty cool. Let's take this vehicle into the LSC and check it out from there. Okay, so when you guys get this car on Tuesday, the first thing you're probably going to do is going to go to engine, and you're going to notice, wow, I can upgrade a lot. Engine blocks, brace bar, engine details, but then you'll probably start going through them and you're saying, wait a minute, what's changing here? Why am I not noticing any changes? Well, at least in single player, when I'm recording this video, the hood actually doesn't open to see those changes. So what you might have to do is go to hood options and then either click remove hood or go to one of the hood options that allows you to see some of the changes you'll be making on the inside. Then once you do that, you'll be able to go back to engine block and make all of the necessary changes that you want. Now, in the engine detail part, one thing you need to be careful of is it actually changes what you'll see through the grille. So the engine detail that's changed inside the engine block itself, you won't necessarily see, but you can see the changes that are made to what you'll see through the grille, whether it says Karin Automotive or GT or anything else like that. So do keep that in mind when you are making those changes. Now, moving on to exhaust, this vehicle has a lot of cool exhaust options, like actually coming through the engine block itself. Also, on the side of the car itself, you can see the hexed exhaust. That actually comes through like on the side where that little flap was we were looking at earlier. However, the one thing I dislike about all of those exhaust options is they leave this gaping gap in the back. So if you don't have exhaust there, you get this cutout where the exhaust is, but there's obviously no exhaust there, which to me looks a little bit funky from the rear. So just keep that in mind if you are changing the exhaust. It does look a little bit strange. Moving on to liveries, there's 2 liveries that you might actually find on other vehicles here. That is Red Jackal and Blue Jackal Racing. So that is the exact same livery that can be found on the Nero Custom. Now, it's not the exact same design, but it's the same livery, same sponsors, everything on that you'll find on the Nero Custom. So sometimes Rockstar do kind of repeat liveries, and the Red Jackal and Blue Jackal Racing one are the ones that are repeated on this livery design. Moving on, something else I thought was pretty cool were the mirror options. You actually have the option to remove mirrors, which I didn't know you could do. So that's pretty cool. Not only are there a lot of different options, like 13 of them, but the fact that you can completely get rid of them if you want, in my opinion, is kind of awesome. Let's talk about paint jobs really quickly. So this car has a primary, a secondary, and a trim color. So primary, secondary are going to do various obvious things to the exterior of the car. However, the trim color is pretty interesting. It actually changes a lot of the interior, the seats, the dash, everything like that. So that's really cool that it is slightly customizable. And then your primary color actually changes the stitching on the inside of the vehicle. So whatever color is on the outside for primary, that's what you're going to see on the stitching on the seats and whatnot on the inside. So keep that in mind. If you do want to play around with that, you will see color changes happen on the inside too, as well as the exterior, even though the trim color will only have an impact on what you see on the inside. Moving on to spoilers, this vehicle actually has a spoiler option that isn't found on any other vehicle. It's called the garage spoiler. Now, it's basically just a really big wing that I think is far too big for this vehicle, but no other car in the game has a garage spoiler. So I thought that that was pretty unique. Again, this vehicle has a lot of different customization options, and the garage spoiler is just another one right there that proves how cool this vehicle is. Now, getting back to one thing we touched on earlier, those custom rims. They're really cool, but can you change the color of them? And thankfully, the answer is yes. So if you wanted to make them red or blue or green or yellow or black, you can. You can change the color of the stock rims and retain that Karin logo in the center. Now, moving on back outside, one thing I wish this vehicle did was actually have an aerial that was kind of dynamic. So you know how the Nero and the T20 have dynamic spoilers? Well, this actually has like an antenna or an aerial on the back right side. However, it's never active. It always is down. That would have been really cool when you turn the car on. If it actually came up, like you were listening to the radio, or when you turn the radio on, it would actually come on. So in my opinion, that's kind of a missed opportunity there from Rockstar. But overall, I am very impressed with this vehicle. I feel like it has a ton of customization. I feel like it's incredibly unique. I love the interior. I love the sound it actually makes. When this vehicle does release it online, I'll be sure to give you guys a full review. But that right there is 10 things that you might not have known about the Karin 190Z, the vehicle that's going to be releasing this week as part of the Valentine's Day event for Grand Theft Auto Online. So as always, I'd love to hear from you guys in the comments section down below. What are your first impressions of this vehicle? Are you going to be buying it? Are you going to be staying away from it? What do you think of it? Are you on the fence? Let me know your thoughts, opinions, and more in the comments section down below. If you did go on to enjoy this video, though, a like rating would, of course, be awesome. And also subscribe to my YouTube channel if you are new, where you like daily GTA 5 videos like this. Without the way, guys, like I said, thanks so much for watching. Take care, and I'll see you guys in the next video.